Hey, what's up? It's Kyle Lucas RC, YouTube. What I'm gonna do here today, I'm kind of curious. I have an old Traxxas 2075 servo that the motor burnt out in it, and I want to waterproof the Mad Torque so that I can run it in the wintertime. So I was thinking the servo that's on the front of the Mad Torque right now is just a stock one. It's a metal case and real nice, but not really much waterproofing. I was thinking about plastic dipping it, but then at the same time I'm like, what if I could just swap the guts from the stock one on the Mad Torque into the casing, the waterproof casing of the Traxxas 2075, and then not have the plastic dip at all. Just take it apart, take the guts out, put the guts in the other one, bolt it all back together, you got your rubber seals, and then Bob's your uncle. So I'm hoping that will solve both servo waterproofing issues. Then I'm waterproofed in the front, and earlier on the videos when I did the four-wheel steer, you also know that I put a 2075 on the rear waterproof servo. So I'll have the waterproofing on the servos good, and I'll have the brushed motors in the bottom, so that'll be good. I'm gonna do a video also later on the marine greasing of the axles. Then the whole undercarriage will be good, and I'm also gonna do a video on plastic dipping the electronics portion of it. I have to still get some leads for my transmitter, so I can plastic dip it and still be able to plug stuff into it. And other than that, that's pretty much all I need to do, and then I can plastic dip all the electronics. Then I'll have, hopefully, I'll achieve a perfectly waterproof or water resistant, you know what I mean, RC. So let's come down to the table down here. I'm going to move the camera and take you guys down to the table. I've already torn apart the Traxxas 2075. We'll give you a look at each piece of the guts of it, and then we'll go ahead and I'll tear apart the stock one that's in the Exceed, and then we'll see if we can swap the guts out. It's kind of a tedious process. Like, I know some people are going to say just plastic dip it, some people are going to say just upgrade it, you know, whatnot, but I have both things and I have the time to do it, so let's see if it works out. Alright, so have a look at the little pieces that are all in the servo. It's the top, it's the bottom, it's the middle portion of it with the rubber seals, bearings, screws, various gears, pins. There's two tiny little screws that screw into the top of the motor when it's inside the case. Okay? See these two little holes there next to that pin? That's where you take those two screws out of. That's the guts of a servo. Da-da-da. Motor, chip, little kind of a controlling device that tells you left or right. And 4 mounting screws. This is what's on Traxxas, or on the Exceed, on the Mad Torque. This was on the Mad Torque. Metal case. Looks like metal gearing. Still plastic top. Plastic bottom. Not waterproof. So I'm curious if I can remove that from that. Or is it even the same thing inside? Swap them around in that case. And then create a waterproof 2075 with Exceed guts. Kind of solved the aesthetics problem and the waterproofing problem at the same time. So let's go ahead and see if we can give her a shot. I'm going to rip this one apart, see what the guts look like. Okay, well, here's the high and low of it. I just took all the gears off the inside of that Exceed one that was there. And they pretty much, every one of them, mounted up perfectly in the Traxxas 2075. Bang. So let's have a look and see if we can get the guts, this portion of the deal. See if we can get this out and into there. It's got the same setup, little controller there. It'll be, hopefully it all works out. So check this out. Just made a pretty cool little discovery. On the 2075, okay, I was like, okay, all the gears lined up perfectly. Then you see how like the control knob that's there, that black control knob, it's actually like slotted. I don't know if it'll focus on that or not. But the knob that's coming off of there is actually slotted. But it's like raised up on these like posts. So when I took out the one out of the Exceed, it was just connected on a wire. So I got kind of worried. I was like, oh, that's not going to work. Luckily enough, hope you can see this. If you flip this over and you look inside there, they have the locking tabs and the little square. It's perfect in there. Should just clip right in. It's almost like it was made that way. Hopefully this works out. Well, you can chalk this up as a fail for Kyle Lucas RC. As you can see, everything mounts up perfectly except for the fact that the motor can, it's too big. Won't cover it. Can't fit the bottom on. There's no way you can make that work. So, epic fail on the 2075 Franken servo. Think I'm just gonna take it, put it back together, and oh, what do we got here? Plastidip it. Plastidip it. And it's gonna be red. Awesome. Well, that was a utter waste of time. Okay, so this is what I did to like somewhat try to salvage the whole tearing two servos apart for no reason. I took the little seal that goes around here on the 2075. That little rubber seal that goes there. Took that off the 2075. I also took the little rubber O-ring that goes around the servo horn gear. Took that off. Put that on there. Put the rubber seal in between here. And I took the little rubber seals. I don't know if you can really see that. That's going to be hard to focus on. But there's a tiny little rubber O-ring around the screws on the Traxxas 2075. Took those off. Put those on these screws that came out of it to seal up the holes on the bottom. Now I'm just going to plastidip the thing. Then I'm going to see what happens from there. I also took the bearing off the 2075 and I put it in there and I took the bushing out. So I don't know if I'm just thinking that might be a little faster. A bearing, roller bearing, might be a little faster than a bushing. So maybe I'll achieve a little bit better rotation speed with the servo. So I'm just gonna finish that up and then we'll plastidip her.